Hi, everyone. I'm Todd Rossnagel, Director of Communications for the Louisiana Conference of the United Methodist Church. We wanted to give you an update on Hurricane Laura as the storm made landfall last night overnight near Cameron with winds in excess of 150 miles per hour. The storm, having gone through Alexandria in the early morning hours, is now headed as of this recording in a north-northeast direction as a weaker storm between Shreveport and Monroe. We are getting reports, although not as many reports as to be expected because many people have left the area. We are getting reports of some damage in the Lake Charles area at some of the churches in the area. Maplewood United Methodist Church, you can see the damage here to this church. Also, University United Methodist Church in Lake Charles. You're looking at this video, you're looking at this photograph of the day school on the campus of University United Methodist Church, the church office, the contemporary worship space, as well as the kitchen suffering damage. Again, that's University United Methodist Church in Lake Charles. We want to share with you an interview now with Reverend Lorraine Wattell. Lorraine is at First United Methodist Church in DeRidder, just 20 miles about 40 miles actually north of Lake Charles. Lorraine is also the disaster response coordinator for the Lake Charles district, and she stayed. Her area was not under a mandatory evacuation, and she stayed through the duration of the storm. And she joins us now from DeRidder, and she's actually just outside of the parsonage, and she gives us this update on how things are right now in DeRidder. Lorraine, thank you for carving out the time. Good morning. Give us an update from where you are.
Yeah, I'm actually immediately outside the parsonage for First Methodist Church, and we lost quite a number of trees last night, along with just the normal branches and everything that comes down. Immediately over my left shoulder, you can see part of a downed tree, and if you look even farther into the background, you'll see kind of a brown, round clump of dirt. And that's actually about a 25-foot pine tree that was on my neighbor's property, and it fell and sheared off the front of his house. But both the backyard and the front yard of the parsonage has lost a lot of trees. We have damage to the garage because we had several trees fall on it. We've got leakage there, but so far no leakage in the rest of the house, for which I'm grateful.
Lorraine, you stayed in DeRidder overnight. You were telling me that the storm was probably at its worst around 3 o'clock in the morning. For folks who are watching this video, give us an idea of what it was like as the storm passed through.
It was pretty amazing. I've been in one other hurricane, which was Hurricane Sandy down in Haiti. So I kind of had an idea of what I might have been heading into. And, you know, the winds, they said, were 120 miles an hour at that point in the morning. We were at that point in the wall of the eye of the hurricane. We actually had the eye go right over us, which actually allowed me to get outside and run around and kind of do an immediate assessment on the house. But the winds were definitely wailing. It kind of had both a wailing sound and a moaning sound that was pretty significant. And the rain, the sheets of rain was just unbelievable. We are under a flash flood warning. There has been some flooding in the area from that. But I'd say so far from what we know at this point in the DeRidder area, most of the damage is related to those high winds, because we started about 9 o'clock last night and it just finally calmed down about 30 minutes ago. It's still windy, but it's at least back at a little more normal level.
Lorraine, I would like to ask you, you have so much experience, both with storms, responding to storms, so much experience with disaster recovery. I can't help but think to myself just how difficult, or I should say challenging, the response is going to be as we're in the midst of COVID, as we're in the midst of social distancing.
Right.
This is going to present an enormous challenge. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are, for one thing, for our trained ERTs, they're used to wearing masks as part of their cleanup. So that's kind of a part of life for them when they're doing that anyway. They'll just have to go through their normal practices depending on where they stay, of keeping the mask on when they're around other people. We've had some thoughts here of being able to house some ERTs, and instead of maybe putting 8 people in a room, we might end up putting 4, so that they have their 6-foot area of space where they can, spread out and not be right around each other. In fact, we want to give them much more space than that even. So, it's going to be a little bit of a trial, but I think it's certainly doable.
Lorraine, we will let you go. I know that reports continue to come in from all
Yeah.
across Louisiana as Laura continues to move across the state. Thank you so very much for your time. Thank you for your commitment to Louisiana, your commitment there at First Church in DeRidder. I know you have a rough couple of days and weeks ahead, as we all do. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you. God bless.